The Alliance faced a nightmare ship, then Earth made its final stand. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the observation deck of Lunar Station, watching the emergency session of the Galactic Defense Council unfold on the holographic displays before her. Representatives from 17 species filled the virtual chamber, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and translated speech. But despite the diversity of languages, the message was universally clear: terror. The Void Harvest destroyed the entire Centauri defense fleet in 47 minutes, reported Admiral Thexnol of the Regellian Navy, his 6 eyes dilating with barely controlled fear. 300 ships. Gone. Not destroyed, consumed. The ship appears to feed on both matter and energy. Chen studied the tactical data streaming across her neural interface. The Void Harvest was unlike anything in the galactic database. Measuring nearly 50 kilometers in length, its hull seemed to absorb all electromagnetic radiation, making it appear as a moving hole in space. Witnesses described weapons that didn't just destroy ships, but unraveled them at the molecular level, breaking down their constituent atoms and somehow converting the resulting energy to fuel its own systems. The Andromedan Coalition lost 4 entire star systems, continued Thexnol. 12 billion souls. The ship doesn't just take ships, it harvests entire worlds, stripping them down to their cores and leaving nothing but empty space. Ambassador Kithara of the Vegan Federation, her crystalline form, refracting the chamber's light into prismatic patterns, spoke with harmonic tones that the translators rendered as urgent whispers. Our gravitational monitoring stations detected it 3 cycles ago. The ship's mass is increasing exponentially. Each world it consumes makes it larger, more powerful. Our xenobiologists believe it's not truly a ship at all, but some form of engineered organism. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. An organism that could grow to galactic scale, feeding on entire civilizations. It was every spacefaring species' nightmare made manifest. What do we know about its origins? Asked President Martinez of the Sol System Federation, his image flickering slightly from Earth. The chamber fell silent for a moment before Ambassador Kithara responded. Long-range spectral analysis suggests it originated from the galactic core region. Initial readings indicate technology that predates known civilization by millions of years. We believe it may be an automated weapon system from a dead empire, one that has been dormant until something triggered its activation. And now it's heading for the inner systems, Thexnol added grimly. Current trajectory suggests it will reach the Sol system in 18 standard cycles. After that, he didn't need to finish the sentence. Chen activated her communication link to Earth. Command, this is Lunar Station. I need to speak with Director Harrison immediately. Within moments, the weathered face of Director Harrison appeared on her personal display. The man who had overseen Earth's military development for the past decade looked like he had aged years in the past few hours. Sarah, he said without preamble, tell me the Council has a plan. They're discussing evacuation protocols, Chen replied quietly. Most representatives want to abandon the outer colonies and consolidate defenses around the core worlds. But Director, based on the tactical data, even our combined fleets won't be enough. This thing has already consumed the most advanced naval forces in the galaxy. Harrison's expression darkened. Then we go to Option Omega. Chen felt her blood turn to ice. Option Omega was Earth's most classified project, so secret that only a handful of people in the entire system knew of its existence. During the early days of galactic contact, when humanity had realized how militarily inferior they were to established civilizations, Earth scientists had begun work on what they called leverage equalizers weapons and technologies, so dangerous that they would never be used except in the most desperate circumstances. Director, the Council will never approve. The Council doesn't need to know, Harrison interrupted. "The Void Harvest will reach Earth in 18 cycles. That's barely enough time to implement the Goliath Protocol." Chen had heard whispers of the Goliath Protocol in the deepest levels of Earth's military intelligence. Rumored to be a fusion of theoretical physics and applied insanity, it was supposedly a weapon that could threaten not just ships or planets, but the fundamental structure of space-time itself. "Sir, what exactly is the Goliath Protocol?" Harrison's image glitched for a moment as he transferred to a more secure channel. 17 years ago, our quantum physicists made a discovery. They found that if you could generate a precisely calibrated series of gravitational pulses, you could trigger what they called a causal loop resonance. Essentially, you create a feedback loop in space-time that forces a localized region to experience its own destruction before the cause occurs. Chen stared at him. "You're talking about temporal paradox weaponization. The technical term is ytro-causal annihilation cascade. The target is destroyed by its own future destruction, creating a causal loop that removes it from the timeline entirely. But the energy requirements are..." Harrison paused. "Let's just say it requires converting a significant portion of Jupiter's mass directly into exotic matter." "Jupiter?" Chen whispered. "You're talking about sacrificing an entire planet to save every other planet in the galaxy," Harrison replied grimly. "The Void Harvest has shown it can adapt to conventional weapons, absorb energy attacks, and grow stronger from each victory. But it can't adapt to being erased from causality itself." As if summoned by their conversation, alarms began blaring throughout Lunar Station. Chen's tactical displays lit up with impossible readings. A massive gravitational distortion was approaching the outer system, 17 cycles ahead of schedule. "It's here," Chen breathed, watching as the sensor arrays detected something vast and dark moving through the asteroid belt, consuming everything in its path. "The Void Harvest, it's moving faster than predicted." Harrison's face hardened with resolve. "Then we're out of time for debate. Initiate Goliath Protocol immediately. Authorization, Harrison Omega 77 Alpha." Across the Sol system, hidden installations buried deep within Jupiter's core began to activate. Exotic matter generators that had been constructed in absolute secrecy started their dangerous process of converting ordinary matter into the strange substances needed for temporal manipulation. Chen watched the tactical displays as the Void Harvest swept through the outer planets, its impossible bulk growing visibly as it consumed asteroid fields and space stations. But now, deep within Jupiter's roiling atmosphere, humanity's desperate gambit was building toward activation. Goliath Protocol, at 60% power, reported the AI monitoring the Jupiter installations. Causal resonance field generators online. Temporal targeting coordinates locked on the hostile entity. The Void Harvest had reached Mars orbit, its dark hole stretching across the viewports like a cancer against the stars. Earth's combined defense fleets opened fire with everything they had: antimatter torpedoes, particle beams, gravitational disruptors, but the weapons simply disappeared into the ship's hull without effect. 90% power, the AI announced. Warning: Jupiter mass conversion at critical threshold. Gravitational effects will be noticeable throughout the system. "Do it," Harrison commanded from Earth. 100% power achieved. Initiating retrocausal annihilation cascade in 3, 2, 1. Space-time around the Void Harvest suddenly convulsed. Reality folded in on itself as the causal loop engaged, and for one impossible moment, the massive ship experienced its own destruction echoing backward through time. The feedback loop built exponentially, erasing the vessel not just from space, but from the timeline itself. When the distortions cleared, the Void Harvest was gone. No debris, no energy signature, simply absent, as if it had never existed at all. Chen looked out at where Jupiter had been, and saw only an expanding cloud of exotic particles. Humanity had saved the galaxy, but at the cost of an entire world. The price of survival, she reflected, was sometimes everything you had to give.